and welcome to That Goes Awesome, the only podcast where we are going to recap Survivor Goes Awesome. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. I am here, not with Christian, but I'm here with Ashley.
Even better.
Okay. So, really quick, this podcast, the idea behind it is it's almost like a companion podcast on top of like a recap podcast where we are talking about our Survivor game that we did on our channel where I got 15 of my friends together to compete in a game where we played actual real life Survivor, and it was legit. We actually did it. Like, it wasn't fake. It was real.
It was very legit. I was one of those players.
Yes, and Ashley played. So I had the idea behind this podcast. One, to talk about the different, what goes into making this type of game and show and video. I want to talk about all the different production aspects, video-wise, all the different production aspects of just like the whole thing together. And on top of all of that, Ashley is here, and me and her both are going to be talking about the strategy and breaking down maybe like what it's like from a player to actually see some of that episode. So we want to recap the episodes on top of maybe giving even more information. So, like I said at the beginning, think of this as maybe like a companion podcast or an extra bonus behind the scenes.
The inside scoop.
The inside scoop. Maybe that's the name of the podcast. The inside scoop with Jayden and Ashley. But, anyways, without all that being said, I do right up front want to mention, if you haven't seen episode 1 and episode 2 of Survivor Goes Awesome Season 2, I highly recommend you go check that out now. We will have a link everywhere. Go look in the description. You'll find it. Go watch the episodes.
Right now.
Because in this podcast, we are going to be talking about it all, and there will be heavy, heavy spoilers. So, if you haven't seen that, you might be a little confused as to what we're talking about. But me and Ashley did just watch episode 1 and 2, and we're here to talk about it with you. So, Ashley, right off the bat, we get into the episode, and we have this epic, crazy intro where I recorded all these other different lines without anybody around. Nobody knew I was doing that, mainly because I did it like 2 months after the season was over. But we have this whole epic intro, and we get right into the game, or right into what we refer to as the mat chat, and that's basically the entire 3 tribes are all just standing as I am there to tasked to hype up the game. I just want to know, from a player point of view, what is going through your mind? 1, as you're getting there, figuring out all the people that's on your tribe, and 2, just throughout the entire match chat, as I'm just talking, going on this monologue for like 15 minutes.
Yes. Well, so for Season 2, Season 1 we did a random drawing of rocks. Season 2, we were told secretly what team we were going to be on, and no one knew who was on each other's teams until we all got there and got to see what color everyone was wearing. That's how we figured out who was on our team. So there wasn't really any strategizing beforehand, and, well, I mean, there could have been, for sure. But, so, when I get there, I was very happy to see my team. I feel like I had, like, a pretty stacked team. I was very happy. Mostly because, besides Nick, who I was on a team with for a brief period of time before the swap on Season 1, I had people I had never played with. Miley and Addison were both 2 new players who never played before. I was never on a team with Christian, I don't think, in Season 1. So, I didn't have any bad juju with any of my players, and it was good vibes overall. And we had a lot of new people who hadn't played this time, so it was really nice. Green Team had a lot of players who hadn't played before. It was really nice to see some new faces. And then, seeing Red Team where they were and all those people on there. It was really nice to see everyone back, especially because it hadn't been too long since we last played. We played in November, I believe, Season 1. It was cold. It was a little gloomy this time.
It was the exact
this
opposite.
This time it was the complete opposite. We're playing in June. It's hot. So it was definitely a complete different setting than the first one. The vibes were totally different. Energy was definitely there. It was definitely a lot different than Season 1, and we were all really nervous and really excited to be there, ready to go.
Yeah, so what do you think of the whole chat as I'm just like, I'm trying to hype everybody up. I'm like, this is your story. This is it. Like, come on. Like, you think I did a good job?
I think you're doing a great job. I think we were not hyped enough like we should have been. Like, Jayden was killing it on the hype. I think we were all just like, the first few minutes of being on camera for everyone is always like awkward. I feel like, you know, we're all just kind of standing there like, ding, ding. But as the show goes on, you know, everyone's a lot more comfortable about it. But no one really wants to talk at first in that little bit until Jayden starts adding people to like get their input on different things.
Let me be clear on something really quick. So, these are all my friends, like I mentioned before. But it's not all like my friends that watch Survivor. It's just actually just all my friends. So most of these people actually don't even know what Survivor is, as further than me just explaining what the concept is to them. So that on top of a lot of them not being used to ever being on camera, not like ever doing anything like this, I think that's why I knew it was so important for me to, in order to get good content and to get them like to break out of their shell, I had to like come at them like so strong with that, which I honestly think I could have done a better job hyping them up, because I didn't think that much about like the hype aspect. I just was thinking about like the words I had to say and stuff. So I think I could have said it with more hype in my voice to maybe get them all riled up.
I think at the mat you did great. I think the walk up, I don't think we all realized at that moment that it was go time. Like, we were already on camera. Like, we knew we were being filmed, but I think maybe like a pre-hype before the walk to the hype, like, I think would have helped a lot of people. Because when I was watching all of us walk out, I'm like, oh wow, I really didn't look hyped. I feel like in that moment I didn't feel hyped. So I don't think a lot of us realized it's already like starting in that moment. And but overall it was really good. And that's a great point you make about, you know, not everyone there has the same knowledge of Survivor. We'll see a lot of that as the season goes on, how that works out for some people. But yeah, it was really fun. Because me personally, I know Survivor, but I haven't really watched that much of it. I mean, we were watching season 50. Yeah, we were watching season 50 at school right before we kind of played it. So I did have Survivor kind of fresh on my mind. I know a lot of people didn't. But yeah, it was very fun.
Yeah, awesome. So, awesome. So I do also want to just maybe break down like the whole cast really quick, because Ashley alluded to, we have a lot of returning players and
a lot of new players.
A lot of new players. I think, what's the breakdown? Is it
okay? So blue team, of course, me, Miley, who's a new player. She's one of my coworkers. We brought her on because we had someone previously bail on us, and we wanted 15 people. We had it all planned out for 15 people. We had someone bail like the week before shooting, and we were texting everyone, asking everyone, begging people, please come play this game with us. And I was like, you know, I think my friend might do it. Funny enough, it was like her last weekend before she left for boot camp, and she actually agreed to do it with us. So she spent like one of her last weekends with us. So we got Miley on there, which was awesome. We got Addison, who was also a kind of random draw for us. We went to high school with her, and she actually was on well, you guys have seen her in one of the podcasts that we've done. So Addison agreed to play with us. And then, of course, we got Nick, Christian, me. And then on red team, we had Connor.
Yeah, red team was all returning people.
Yeah, red team was the only one that had all returning people.
Connor, Zach, Abby, Bree, and Logan. And then on the green tribe, we had
total hodgepodge.
Jake and Tristan returning. Then we had both Ben and Maddie were new, and also Austin was new.
Yeah.
So it was a good, like, it wasn't exactly even, but I think it was a good batch and a good mix of like new faces and new personalities, but also people who had done it before and kind of knew what to expect. But moving on and getting to the actual episode. So after the match chat, we have just a little bit of like the introductions at, like, we got to see all the camps first. So we got to see the red camp do their introduction. We got to see the blue camp do their introduction, the green camp, and really quickly to go into more of the production aspect of this. So we had an overall, not counting me who also recorded at some points, we had 5 people that were dedicated just to recording. And each of the different tribes at the different camps, they each had like their own like assigned cameraman basically, and that person was with them at all points, like all the time. So they went to tribal, they did everything. So that's kind of how we like lined that out. It's kind of cool to like actually have to map that out. It was a lot of work and confusing to do all the stuff.
I got Carly, of course. I was very happy about that.
Yes, so Carly was recording the blue camp. But is there anything you want to point out about like the first part of the episodes in terms of the introductions at the camps?
Well, I mean, I'll speak for all of Blue Team when I say we got the best camp out of all of the camps. At first we were kind of confused. Our camp was the furthest off from everybody else. I think ours was actually at a different house, someone else's yard. Don't worry, we know them. But yeah, so we were walking and we were like, bro, where are we going? And then we get to where...
Did I not tell y'all I was at my Nana's house?
I think Carly did, but we were like, we're going to your Nana's house. Everybody else is over here. But so we get there, and man, we got beautiful trees, we got shade. Again, it's summertime, it's hot. We're in the shade, we got trees, we got a bench swing. We're living large. And we can see red and green from where we're at. Green was on our left, red was on our right. And green team had it okay. They looked like they had some shade, but they were kind of just on like a boring field. And poor red team, they were just in the middle of the sun and the field, far beyond us. We were so, so grateful to be on the blue camp. I think that brought a lot of our yin to us, being in that blue camp. It was beautiful. We loved it. I'd go back.
You're never getting that camp again.
No, please.
You're going in the sun.
Please.
After what y'all did, you won that canopy, and you said, oh, they're the ones in the sun. We just won it just so they couldn't have it.
Haters gonna hate,
Well, finally we got to see more of Bree this time.
Yes.
Which, during her introduction, she had something funny to say.
No, Bree was hilarious. I love Bree so much. The funniest line I think I've heard so far this season was her introduction saying, hey, I'm Bree. Fun fact, I like submarines. Think about that. I am still thinking about that, Bree. I'm still thinking about it. What does it mean? I love it. I loved it so much. That was hilarious.
Underrated moment, though, I think, also in that red camp, when they're all doing their introductions, and then it goes to a Zach confessional after they're all talking about trusting each other, and Zach's like, I don't trust these people. Logan betrayed me. Abby betrayed me. I didn't even get a chance to play with Bree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is funny.
And Zach's just like, I don't trust these people. And then obviously later in the episode we get to see more of that. And then, yeah, we got to see the Green Tribe introduce themselves. We got to see Ben and Maddie talk in a confessional together. And I did mention this in the episode, but I just want to stress it even more. Literally, so we started this day. We filmed for 2 days. But this day that we started filming, it was on a Saturday. Ben and Maddie's wedding was literally this Saturday before that. I literally watched them get married. Like, literally watched them walk down the aisle together the Saturday, like, exactly a week before Survivor. Which I just thought was just so funny. They were playing... Essentially, they were spending their honeymoon in my backyard.
And they were okay with that.
And they were okay with that.
And they just got married, and they were batting against each other. They were just talking about how they're not afraid to vote each other out.
Yeah, so there's more of that to come. But very quickly, we get into the journey. So each of the producers were given, and by producers in this context, I'm referring to the cameraman that was assigned for each camp. They were preemptively given this note to hand out, which you see the players get in the episode. So they each of the producers have one, and after we communicated at a certain amount of time, I was like, okay, this is enough time, go ahead and give it. Everybody gave them the notes at the same time, and that was when they had to read that they had to pick somebody to go on a journey. Now, if you watch Season 1, we obviously didn't do Journeys in Season 1. If you watch actual Survivor, I'm actually not the biggest fan of Journeys, which I think we can get more into, because I'm also not the biggest fan of Boomerang Idols. But those are two things we did add this season, and I think you might see them return, you might see other things. We'll see how it goes. But Journeys we decided to do because we wanted more interaction across tribes, which I think is a good benefit of Journeys. But also, did you like the edit of how everybody started reading the note and it went between the different camps?
Oh, I love that. Yeah. No, I actually was thinking that as I was watching it. I'm like, beautiful.
Yeah.
I would have done that. It was amazing.
Shout out to Daniel, our editor. He's at home right now, probably resting. I'm sure he's really tired. Okay. But then we got to see that the Blue Tribe, after choosing between Ashley and Christian, they choose Christian to go, and the Red Tribe chooses Logan to go. I don't know why they let Logan go so easily. And then we saw the Green Tribe ultimately decided on Jake. Now, I do want to get into these decisions just a little bit, because everybody in this game, and I mentioned they're not all Survivor, they not all are huge Survivor fans. Everybody in this game, I have said particularly the Blue Tribe, is heavily focused on winning challenges and just, I guess, keeping their tribe strong. Which in the early game is, like I said, a tribal, not necessarily a bad thing. But I'm a bit confused as to why everybody's instinct when talking about the journey is to choose your strongest player to go to make sure they win. Because to me, and I know you had a different opinion because you kind of wanted to go and stuff, but, like, for example, Red Tribe really wanted to send Logan because they thought Logan could beat out everybody. And I think it was a similar idea across the board. When, in my opinion, if you don't want to go yourself, you want to send somebody you feel like you can trust because you don't know what's going to happen at that journey.
Yeah. I would say probably a strategy for that. For Red Team, when you're first starting out, your alliance is your tribe. So theoretically, you want to send your strongest person who will win. That way, your alliance wins that advantage. That way, you guys have that. So I could see the strategy for wanting your strongest player to get that advantage. That way, your whole team has an advantage. So I can understand that for Logan. Jake, I think they just trusted.
Let me just push. I have actually a completely different take.
Really?
I don't think your starting tribe is your alliance. Logan used that terminology in Tribal Council, and I immediately pushed back because I disagree. And maybe that is because I have watched more Survivor than most people. But in my opinion, you should not be considering your entire beginning tribe your alliance at all. You need to be finding a majority in that as soon as possible. So if you're in a tribe of 5, like we saw our tribes broken into, your number one priority should be finding a group of 3.
No, I agree. I just don't think that was... I mean, ultimately, that is Red Team's mindset. But, as we see in the episodes, I think they often comment on how they are strong together and they are the alliance. So I think to them, they saw themselves as a whole alliance. Me personally, when we were deciding between me and Christian, I wanted to go because just like Nick and, well, honestly, Nick saw season 1. I know Addison caught up with it and stuff, but Nick knew Christian's strong player. So I wanted to go instead of Christian because if there is an advantage on the board, I do not want Christian to have it. Because if our team loses, I want Christian gone. So that's why I wanted to go instead of Christian. But also at the same time, I did not want to lose, I guess, my, possibility of, my vote or anything. And ultimately my team decided on Christian, so it is what it is at that point. It was fine, I guess, in that moment. But, yeah, I did not want Christian to go just because me and Nick were thinking Christian probably has to go if we were to get to that point. So, Blue Team, even though we were very heavily focused on challenges and stuff, I think we kind of all ultimately agreed, mentally, that it probably would be Christian. Because he did so good in season 1 that, he probably would be gone.
Well, I do agree with what you're saying, and I understand that was Red Tribe's mindset, to be clear, was picking their strongest person. And we saw out of the 2 episodes how that turned out for them. Because maybe had Connor not wanted to send Logan, or maybe Connor had wanted to push to go to the journey himself, maybe he could have got that advantage.
Yeah,
Logan.
I agree. Yeah, if I was on Red Team, I would not have let Logan go.
Nope,
I absolutely would not have let Logan go.
While we're on that topic of journeys in general, I know we're jumping ahead a little bit here, but let's talk about the Boomerang Idol. So you find the Boomerang Idol, and we saw a little bit of your reaction when you opened it up and you read Boomerang, but what exactly was going through your mind?
Well, so of course, as you all will see, I somehow managed to grab this idol in front of my teammates and no one actually realized what happened. Whenever I found that idol, I somehow managed to grab it in front of my teammates and no one even noticed. But I was super, super, super happy to grab that idol and I was ready to open up on camera and scream to the rooftops, how I'm safe forever and ever, ever. And then I read the word Boomerang on it. And yeah, and like I said, me and Jay were watching season 50. That's the first time Boomerang's ever came in, right? So, yeah, we just watched season 50. And I read Boomerang, and I'm like, bruh, this is so stupid. Jayden should know better. Why did he do this? But, I was really sad that I had to give away my idol. Because then, my thought process was, if anyone did see me grab the idol, then, they probably think I have it, but they don't know that I actually don't have it. And then, but, it was what it was. I don't like Boomerang idols, but I did get one. It was okay. I sent it to Connor because, my gut was telling me Connor's probably going to get voted out. So I sent it to him because at the end of the day, if he does get voted out with the idol, then it'd come back to me, which is what, I ultimately wanted the idol to come back to me, so it was fine. But also, numbers game, if Connor could stay in and get somebody else out, then that works out for me too. So, it sucked to give it away, but putting it in a position where it could come back or just help me overall was fine too, I guess.
Yeah, so in Survivor proper, I wasn't the biggest fan of Boomerang Idols. But to go back to my other philosophy with the Journeys, I think part of my mindset of adding Boomerang Idols into the game was I wanted to separate all the tribes by color, and I wanted to make them wear their tribe color. I wanted it to be like a whole, like, you are definitely this color tribe. Like, that is what you are. But I also wanted to promote, like, cross-pollination, maybe.
Yeah,
of,
I did
different
like
tribes,
that.
which is why the Journey, getting people to connect from different tribes, and also the Boomerang Idol, that forces people to think about the other tribes and to give an idol to somebody else.
No, I definitely do like the idea of it, and I do appreciate the gesture of it.
Yeah, and I also really wanted to see it work, because we never got to see it work in Survivor 50. So I wanted to add maybe 3 in the game. Maybe not just...
Maybe it'll work once,
maybe. One of them will get it. Okay, but going on from that, so we get to the actual journey, and I just wanted to see, what do you think, like, watching this? Because you obviously didn't get to see this in person. Do you think
like
the Jenga
watching
was
them
cool?
play the game? Well, as we were sitting at camp, we were just like, man, what the heck is going on? But when I'm watching the game, the Jenga, it's a pretty big Jenga. It's pretty big. Watching him play it sucks that I already knew the outcome, because I was definitely rooting for Jake, and for a moment there, I really thought he had it, because Logan was like, oh man, I'm not gonna get this, and then he got it, but then Jake got it too, and I was like, you know what, there's hope. But then ultimately, yeah, I do wish that Christian wouldn't have stepped down so fast. I understand why he did it. I probably would have done it too, honestly. But Jake was pretty close. It was a pretty close Jenga match, so I can't hate. But they both did really good.
Yeah, so I mentioned this earlier to some of the people as we were watching it. I don't think this was in any of the episodes, but I want to point out, that was definitely a giant Jenga. I paid extra money to make sure that Jenga said giant on it. Those were huge blocks, okay? Jake went back to camp, and the entire tribe is like asking what happened, right? And you'll see that as Jake gets to explain what happens. But I don't remember at what point, I think it was Ben was like, so was it giant Jenga or just regular Jenga? And Jake went, it's just regular Jenga. Like, I spent like 20 extra bucks to make it say giant. You could have at least given me the credit for that.
That's actually really funny.
Yeah, but another underrated moment, we got to see when Jake knocks it over, he looks and he's like, man, that was almost a bad place to park.
Jake's one of the funniest people alive, I swear.
Yeah, and then we see everybody go back to their camps, and almost everybody's completely honest. Christian tells everybody what happens. Jake tells everybody what happens. Logan tells everybody at Red Camp what happens, except he lies instead and says that instead of having the knowledge is power, that he has an immunity idol, which we'll see how that lie plays out at the beginning of the episode, or the end of the episode rather. But then getting out of the journey, we go into the proper challenge, which this was our first challenge, and it was like a schoolyard relay, kind of. So, as you saw in the episode, they had to race in sacks, and they had to race balance and stuff, and then it all ended in a puzzle. So what do you think of this challenge?
I thought it was a good challenge. I'm glad I get to talk about this, because my mindset, whenever you were telling us what the challenge was, it was the jumping in the sack thing, the balance while you walk, and then the, like, 3-legged. All I thought of during your talk that was, I think I'm going to suck at all 3 of those. Like, genuinely, I was like, oh man, I don't think I'm like a really good runner. I get out of breath pretty fast. I could probably balance, but when I get nervous, I get a little shaky. So I didn't think I was gonna do good at all of them. But then I heard that you get to be a caller, and one thing I am good at is yelling. So I was very happy that I could just not have to run and I can just yell instead, because I'm pretty good at that. So I was very happy for that. But then, unfortunately, 2 people had to do the puzzle, and I did the puzzle with Addison. And, ultimately we'll see how that plays out. The camera did, Daniel did a very great job of editing it to where you don't see how much I actually suck at doing that puzzle. without Addison, honestly, we probably would have lost that challenge, and I probably would have gone home. But, yeah, we somehow managed to make it through in that challenge, and I was very grateful for Addison. I hugged her at the end. I was very thankful.
Well, I think this is a good time to point out, going through the editing process, and I mentioned we have so many people recording, we have so much footage. There is so much footage. And at the end of the day, there is so much stuff that happens, and there is so much that we like have to cut out of the episode just for a time. Like you saw, the episode is already 40 minutes, and there's so much more footage that we could have had in the episode. So there's stuff that's going to happen that maybe you'll hear about on this podcast if you listen, but isn't able to be in the episode. I also want to point out, with maybe more so just like the design of the challenge, and maybe this is something you picked up on as you're playing, maybe not, but part of my mindset going in as designing these challenges is I really wanted to focus more on individualistic responsibilities.
Yeah, and I do think that was a really good
in terms of
that.
For different reasons. One, because I wanted to get everybody doing something, but also like for the camera, for the video, I want everybody to have like their moment in the challenge, which is why I designed it in a way where it's like, okay, you pick somebody to do this, you pick somebody else to do this, you pick somebody else to do this, and I think that worked really well. One, because I said you get to see. It forces everybody to participate in something and have responsibility. But two, I think especially for the first challenge, I wanted it to be something where you see everybody running, and this is like part of your moment to really start to learn everybody's names and to understand who everybody is like as a person and as a character. So that's why I really liked how I was able to narrate and say everybody's name as they're doing the task, because I think that helps putting names with faces. If you're somebody maybe that's not us who knows everybody pretty well.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that was definitely beneficial to the video. And like you said, with like individual strengths, I know Addison wanted to do the run or three-legged walk with Miley because she said she knew some kind of like military kind of like walk thing that Miley also knew, so they agreed to do that together. And yeah, it is nice to see people kind of like play to their strengths. Like that. And then also, are you talking about Addison getting dragged by Miley?
Yeah, Miley just picked up Addison and carried her. And correct me if I'm wrong. I might be skipping ahead. This might be episode 2. But we also see once Blue Tribe completes that and they all run towards the puzzle. We didn't capture it on camera like perfectly, but you can
see her legs.
You can see on the edge of the screen, Addison freaking eats it.
I don't know how I missed that during the actual like game. We were all just so focused. I didn't even notice she fell.
And every time I watch it, I die laughing.
It's really funny.
And we have a close puzzle. Abby, in the end, she like pretty much cost her team because the Red Tribe didn't do terrible at the puzzle, but they were so far behind because of Abby.
I do honestly believe Blue probably would have lost it if Abby didn't fumble.
If Abby could have got it together.
Yeah.
But then we do get to see the Red Tribe loses the challenge, and then the fear goes in everybody's mind that Bree is once again going to be the first person voted out of Survivor.
But she killed it on that hop thing, the bunny thing. She killed that.
She's a hopper.
That she is. Think about that.
So think about that. So we get into the Red Camp now that we've learned that the Red Tribe has lost, and they are about to go to Tribal Council. And talk through, you obviously didn't see any of this in person until you got to watch the episode, but talk about what you see overall as like we get into like this Red Camp.
Oh gosh. It's hard to say. Like, you would think everyone's just thinking, oh, Abby fumbled that challenge. Obviously, Abby is the easy vote. That makes the most sense. I think everyone collectively is like, we're not going to vote Bree out because Bree was out last season. We'll keep her in. She did go on the challenge. No reason to vote her out.
However, she is the other one to catch a vote.
She was the other one to catch a vote, yeah. Obviously the vote leaned towards Connor. Connor, unfortunately, revealed to Zach that he had the idol. Yeah, so we didn't mention that part. So Ashley did give the idol to Connor. We said that, and then Connor gets the idol, and then he does decide to not keep it a secret and to reveal it to Zach because he thought he could trust Zach. Yes, and unfortunately, that was not a good play. The whole game could have gone a different way, honestly, if Connor didn't tell nobody and just used his idol in that very first one. Could have been a completely different game. But unfortunately, Connor was too trusting, too naive in that moment, and he revealed that he had the idol. And then, of course, Zach not telling him to keep it to himself, he tells Logan, and, you know, everyone on the team finds out, and they all, you know, Zach chose to go with Logan and the girls, and unfortunately Connor was the one to go.
Yeah, but let's talk about, I think, like, the first thing we see right away when we go to the red camp is we see both the girls, Abby and Bree, they immediately gravitate towards one another. They do know each other, but I do think there is also a connection just because they are the only two women on the tribe.
Yeah, I think that's always, like, a connector. Like, if you're on a team, there's, like, you know, another girl, you just kind of want to work together, you know, you want to stick together, because naturally it just seems like genders want to stick together. If it's, like, 2 boys and 3 girls, the boys are probably like, oh, man, we're out of here.
Yeah, so. But I really appreciated how, obviously, they didn't know they were doing this, but simultaneously, they both went and did confessionals talking about the other, and they almost worded it the exact same way. Bree's like, I really just want to work with Abby, and then cut to Abby, I really just want to work with Bree.
That's
and
nice.
So you get to see them as they're playing hacky sack. The others are playing hacky sack. You get to see them all bond together. And then, like you said, Logan pitches the idea of Connor to Zach, and then Zach, ultimately, in the end, he, as I say in the previously on, he stands by as Logan steals Connor's idol. And Logan, even though he had just said, like an hour prior, that he was going to hold on to this advantage, he uses the knowledge is power in episode 1, stealing Connor's idol. Yep. So I do want to know, what did you think about the idea or like the concept of even like something like a knowledge is power being in the game?
I've never heard of knowledge is power. I've never heard of it before. Honestly, when I first heard about it on the Matt Talk thing, my head was kind of just like, okay, I guess everyone keep your eyes to yourself, guys. You know they're gonna get you. Yeah, I didn't think nothing of it.
Well, you should have.
I should have.
Because the interesting part, the interesting like added layer to this is Ashley's Boomerang idol got sent. She sent it to Connor, and had Connor gone home, which he did, under any normal circumstances, the idol would then boomerang to Ashley. Mm-hmm. However, Connor technically did not go home with the idol. Yeah. The idol is still in the game.
Logan just took it, so the idol did not boomerang back to me. It's just sitting in the palms of Logan's hands.
Which leads to some confusion as we go forward. Yeah, but then I do want to get into episode 2. We broke down the premiere a lot. That was a huge episode. And then getting into episode 2. So we start episode 2, and I believe we start with green camp? No, I think we start with blue camp, because we get to see more of your reaction and like, or what you think is going to happen. Mm-hmm. After the Red Tribe does their all-tribal council and everything. But then, I think one of the most interesting aspects of the beginning, like, camp footage in Episode 2 is we see Ben really starts to come out, and he has his confessional talking about how he wants to side of Austin and not Maddie. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think you mentioned this before. Maddie and Ben both said, yeah, we're married, but we'll still vote each other out, which people believe to a degree.
Yeah, most people, like, didn't really believe them. Because, you know, any couple, people are going to assume that they're going to work together. Of course, it would be smart to act like you're not working together and then ultimately work together because that's a number for you. So a lot of people weren't really buying it. No. I didn't buy it.
Yeah, but we do see maybe a sort of bromance start to form as Ben says he wants to work with Austin, and we do see that conversation between Ben and Austin just a little bit as they start putting their canopy together.
No.
Doll. And then again, their distrust for Tristan, as nobody ever trusts Tristan.
Yeah, that's kind of a common theme throughout this show is poor Tristan, honestly. I don't know if he'll ever get back to, like, being trusted.
He's too far down the hole.
I think everyone is always just kind of see him as, like, a sketchy guy. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't want to keep him around too long, or else he'll probably, like, pull something out of his sleeve on you.
Yeah, and then we get into the second challenge, which starts out with the water relay, which you see returned from season 1, but obviously modified a little bit with taking the water out of the pool. And there's 3 buckets this time because there's 3 different tribes. Mm-hmm. And then we get into this new aspect or new part of the challenge that we did not see in season 1, which is where 4 players from each tribe have to hold the string. and they have to one by one go up and place a block spelling immunity, similar to how we did the Final Four challenge in season 1. But this time it is a tribe format. So you sat out of this challenge.
I did.
You didn't get to perform. But what do you think about like the challenge as a whole?
I thought the challenge was great. You know, I've done the bucket challenge before. You know, my mindset going to the second challenge was I felt so terrible about my performance on that first challenge that I kind of wanted to just sit it out because, you know, I felt like the other members of my team were a little more fit than me. I think they could run a lot faster and get the water and stuff. And also I didn't mind sitting out of, you know, the running of the water challenge, so I was okay with that too. The puzzle where they had to build it, I thought that was really cool. I was kind of sad I didn't get to participate in that one because it did seem very fun. But ultimately it was the best decision for me to sit out because my team performed pretty well on that one.
I do want to talk about just some of the challenge stuff in general, especially like the physical things. Like you see what they have to do with the spelling immunity and with the strings and stuff on the block. Shout out to my brother, by the way. That's what I really want to get across. My brother has actually put in so much like effort and money and time into building like all the stuff that you see. So all the challenge stuff like you saw back in season 1 and some of it you will see again as more episodes come out. But like that thing at the immunity spelling, both the immunity spellings, and then the having to stack the cans on the leg, like all the like the wooden things you see built. My brother just built those from scratch. I just had an idea and I was like, hey Brick, can you do this? And he just did it. So like that's just awesome.
No, that is really awesome.
Yeah, and some other thing I really want to get across is this is something that definitely does not come across on camera at all. Is they are running back and forth and they're doing all this and you see the sun, but I don't think you're able to realize it's literally, we're doing this in like 90-degree weather.
Yeah, it was extremely hot.
It is hot, and it is so like taxing running back and forth that much when it is so hot, and you've already been doing stuff, and you haven't, it's not like you've been staying super hydrated, like you've already been doing stuff, and then you're running back and forth, and that is where we see the Red Tribe, who, as Ashley mentioned, their camp was just in the blazing sun, and they didn't win the canopy.
No.
They once again lose this challenge, and we get to see all that heat translate into just how exhausted they are and how they have no shade and they're in the sun, and it's just terrible. And we'll get more into that into a second. But I did want to point out more moments from the challenge. I think Green Tribe had just some of the best saves throughout like the entire challenge, like particularly Tristan. When Tristan's able to get the letters, and at first he passes it to Jake, then it falls again, so it doesn't really matter. But then he's able to recollect the letters again, and he's the one that has to distribute them. I say that as I'm narrating. And he passes it to Maddie easy. He gives it to Jake easy. He gets everything to where he needs to go.
You know, shout out to Tristan.
But the next block he has to distribute is to Austin, and he's not able. He can't just hand it to Austin because they're on opposite sides of the post. And you might have to go back and watch this in the challenge. It's actually really easy to miss. I actually miss it almost every time I watch it.
I missed it.
But while they have like 3 letters balanced on top, Tristan has to get this letter to Austin because they have to go clockwise. So Austin has to place the next letter. So Tristan literally takes the letter, and as all 4 of them are holding it, he tosses it while they're holding it to Austin, and Austin catches it like this while they're holding it and is able to put the letter on.
I did miss that.
And then once again at the very end, there is 1 block left that Tristan has to place, and he takes off his hat to like be able to scoot it over, and he picks it up, throws his hat, and then you can see him slowly walk towards the end of the rope and slowly walk back as he places it. And I would be remiss as to not shout out Ben during this challenge, was giving like the best call outs ever for his tribe. He was like, Maddie, hold it up higher. Tristan, go to your left. It was seeing somebody
sitting beside a Ben as he's giving his call outs, and I'm just over there like like I was like, man, maybe I should start yelling some things. But my team had it. They were fine.
But Ben came in clutch, Tristan came in clutch, and all the Green Tribe working together. They sent poor Red Tribe to another tribal council.
Yeah, Tristan didn't get enough love on that one. I didn't realize how much of a team player he was in that moment.
No, not at all. But then we see just maybe the saddest camp segment of all time.
Was this a scene where Logan was laying down in the
Logan's
grass?
like, if I make it that far, I'm gonna sleep so good tonight.
I mean, you could tell. I mean, Bree, like you could just see it on her face how exhausted she was.
I love that confession where she's like, We're all literally hiding under a barn right now because it's so hot.
Yeah, I do feel for them because, I mean, I don't think a single moment on the blue camp where we like, oh, it's so hot, or, oh man, we were chilling the whole time. I do feel for red team. Like, I would be in shambles having to sit in that sun like that for 2 challenges.
So, in what I do believe, and I will go on record to say, is maybe the least eventful pre-tribal camp in the entire season, we get to see basically just sadness as Bree falls apart, and everybody out of pity, I believe I used the word
put her down,
put her out of her misery, as they let Bree go. And I do want to touch a little bit just on the heart disease. I'm not going to say the name because I don't want to get it wrong, but she does say in the episode, and I also said in the episode that I mentioned how Christian, my normal podcast host, also has a heart disease, but I don't mention that him and Bree actually have the exact same heart disease.
That is crazy.
Which is a very rare disease, by the way.
Yeah, that's odd.
And the fact that they know each other and, like, are good friends, and they both have that same disease is kind of crazy. But, yeah, out of worrying for Bree's health, both her and the entire rest of her tribe, they put her down. Resulting in Bree being the second person voted out of the game. 2 red down.
Yeah, 2 red down indeed.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, oh, and that's actually a funny thing you say, the 2 red down. Blue team, I don't think this was really filmed much, but there was a lot of talk between, like, blue team about what we think about green team, what we think about red team. I mean, it may come up later, I don't know, but we really thought red team was going to sweep every challenge. We thought green team was going to lose every challenge. I don't know why we did. I mean, we just thought that. We really thought red was going to win. And, like, the shock both times that, like, red lost for blue team, we were like, wow, what is going on? We really thought this team was going to, like, tank every single time. But,
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so any closing thoughts on maybe just the premiere and episode 2 as a whole, in maybe in terms of, as a player, like, what you thought in the game, or just... Now watching the videos, now that you've seen it for the whole time, you've seen more. Any closing thoughts?
Yeah. Well, right before we watched the premiere, we watched an episode of the first season, kind of just like reminiscing on when we first filmed it, and just seeing like production from the first season to this season, like seeing how much we've kind of like grown and how much we think it's just overall just better was so much fun. Playing the game again was just really fun. We were all happy to be back. The premiere was amazing. I really enjoyed watching it. The second episode, it was sad because there wasn't much we could really do about it in that instance. It was just the universe decided Bree would make it past that first challenge, and then no more after that. Maybe if we do it again, maybe she'll make it to the 3rd challenge. So, yeah, it was overall just a really good time watching with everybody.
Yeah, so overall we had a ton of fun making the videos and like getting the videos out there and just watching the video. So I really hope you all did enjoy episode 1 and 2. And if you listen to this whole podcast, shout out to you. And on top of watching the episodes, you listen to a breakdown of me and Ashley talking about both of the episodes. Now, I would like to also mention here, I think this is like the perfect platform for us just to be able to communicate anything. If you have any questions at all about anything in terms of how the production was ran at all, or in terms of maybe what we think about specific moments or anything like that, please let us know. Like, leave them in the comments below, because like it's so much work, even more than you can imagine, went into like this entire process, into like getting the whole cast together, in terms of making everything ready for the challenges, of course getting food to feed people, and then as you'll see, getting stuff together for people to be able to stay the night, and the entire game design and just everything, and now then post-production of it, not to mention getting the actual production together, people like recording and everything in the moment, and then now editing that all together. It's so much work. It is like the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Maybe besides taking TCAPs in 3rd grade, but
this is more rewarding.
This is so much more rewarding, and I really hope you all did enjoy both those episodes and listening to the podcast. Mm-hmm. Please make sure you do go leave a like on those videos, because it really will help the algorithm, and leave a comment. Let us know, like this video,
and come back and see us for the next one.
If you're listening to this podcast on just maybe our normal like Spotify feed or one of our other platforms that our podcast is posted on, then yeah, head over to YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube, because that is where all the Survivor Goes Awesome videos are getting posted. with that being said, I think that is all I have for this breakdown. We will see you all next time as we break down the next episode of Survivor Goes Awesome, which is releasing every Sunday at 8 p.m.
Oh, yeah.
In the meantime, though, I have been Jayden.
I am Ashley.
Stay awesome. We are out of here. You want to dap me up? Okay. Goodbye.